The Memphis Grizzlies are at a critical juncture. The 2025 NBA playoffs are not just another postseason, they are a defining moment for a franchise that is yet to fulfill its potential. After years of promising talent, developmental strides, and incremental improvements, the time for excuses has officially passed. This playoff run will determine whether the Grizzlies can translate promise into success or if a significant organizational overhaul is on the horizon. Since Ja Morant was drafted second overall in 2019, the Grizzlies have been seen as a team on the rise. Yet despite early signs of progress, the results have been consistently underwhelming in the postseason. They failed to qualify in 2020, then lost in the first round to the Utah Jazz in 2021, 4-1. In 2022, they took a step forward but were eliminated by the Golden State Warriors in the second round, 4-2. Hopes were high in 2023, but they were bounced in the first round again, this time in a 4-2 defeat to the Los Angeles Lakers. Last season, in 2024, they failed to qualify altogether. Now, in 2025, they find themselves back in the play-in tournament, having collapsed down the stretch despite once holding a top 3 seed in the West. The 2024-25 campaign began with optimism. By the All-Star break, the Grizzlies hovered around the second seed in the Western Conference, largely propelled by strong individual performances and solid team chemistry. However, that chemistry quickly unraveled. Over the final 10 games of the regular season, Memphis went just 4-6, finishing with a 48-34 record and slipping to the 8th seed. Their statistical decline during this stretch was jarring. The Grizzlies ranked 20th in defensive rating post-All-Star break and were 21st in defensive rebounding overall, critical metrics that speak to a team struggling with effort, communication, and physicality. Offensively, their sloppiness was just as costly, averaging 17.4 turnovers per game, 29th in the league, ahead of only one other team.
There's so many question marks with this team about players coming back from injury and the rotation and what happens when Ja Morant gets back. And
lots of things added up to that loss because it was a one-possession game late and the Grizzlies simply could not execute.
Who's the voice? They simply don't have one. No leader. They know what they want to do, but they just can't.
Injuries have also played a major role in derailing Memphis's momentum. Rookie starting guard Jalen Wells suffered a season-ending injury, fracturing his right wrist and sustaining a concussion in a terrifying fall against the Charlotte Hornets. Forward Brandon Clark was also shut down for the year with a PCL strain in his right knee. Meanwhile, cornerstone players like Marcus Smart missed significant stretches before being traded. The lack of continuity and depth became painfully obvious as the season wore on. The problems haven't been limited to the hardwood. Ja Morant's continued off-court controversies, including a new gun celebration stemming from social media incidents in the past, have once again brought his leadership into question. A leaked video involving Santi Aldama and Desmond Bane further fueled rumors of internal dysfunctions. These distractions have painted a picture of a locker room lacking discipline and maturity, an issue no contender in the NBA can afford. In response to the downward spiral, the Grizzlies decided to fire their winningest coach in franchise history, Taylor Jenkins, in a shocking move late in the season, signaling the organization's growing urgency and frustration.
We've heard so much about the players on this team in postseason awards. Your head coach, we haven't heard a lot about it. Why would Taylor Jenkins, why should he be coach of the year?
It's no brainer. It doesn't go understated how good of a coach he is.
The front office was also aggressive with trade deadline decisions, shipping out veteran guard Marcus Smart and forward Jake LaRavia in a desperate attempt to regain traction. These moves, while bold, have not yielded immediate success and further destabilized an already fragile rotation. The pressure on Memphis this postseason cannot be overstated. A strong showing could validate the front office's vision and stabilize the franchise, but another early exit could trigger sweeping changes, from the coaching staff to the roster. The spotlight is especially bright on Ja Morant. While his explosiveness and box office appeal are unquestioned, the bigger question remains, is he actually a winning player? Morant has yet to lead Memphis past the second round and remains without a signature playoff series victory. The 2025 playoffs will be a referendum on his leadership, maturity, and ability to elevate those around him. While much of the attention remains on Morant, the futures of Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. are also quietly on the line. Bane, who signed a 5-year, $197 million extension in 2023, has proven himself as a dynamic scorer and reliable two-way guard. However, his talent has been a point of concern, and questions remain about whether he can consistently be a second or third option on a contending playoff team. His involvement in the controversial off-court video with Aldama hasn't helped matters either, drawing scrutiny about his judgment and professionalism. If the Grizzlies bow out early again, Bane's long-term fit as a co-star alongside Morant could come under serious review. Despite his talent, Memphis may need to reassess whether his skill set matches well with Morant's ball-dominant style and the evolving needs of the roster. Jaren Jackson Jr., the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, remains one of the league's most versatile bigs. At his best, Jackson is a floor-spacing rim protector capable of switching across positions and anchoring a defense, but his inconsistency on the glass and occasional foul trouble continue to limit his impact in big games. Post-All-Star break, Memphis ranked just 21st in defensive rebounding, a glaring weakness for a team with a player of Jackson's size and skill. While Jackson remains under contract through 2026, a disappointing postseason could lead the front office to consider a recalibration of the core, possibly exploring trade avenues that would have seemed unthinkable a year ago. He's immensely valuable, but if the Grizzlies decide their current trio cannot get them over the hump, Jackson's name will inevitably surface in the offseason speculations. This playoff run isn't just about getting out of the play-in, it's about proving that this iteration of the Grizzlies has what it takes to actually contend. The Western Conference continues to get deeper. Teams like the Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Thunder are only getting better, and Memphis can't afford to fall further behind. They've already invested heavily in their core, with Morant, Bane, and Jackson all on sizable contracts. The margin for error is shrinking. With the firing of Taylor Jenkins and front office turnover becoming more plausible if things go south, 2025 may be the last opportunity for this group to show they deserve to stay together. The Memphis Grizzlies are no longer the lovable underdogs. They're a team with high expectations, a maxed-out payroll, and mounting scrutiny. With a late-season collapse, persistent injuries, off-court distractions, and a new coaching staff, this year's playoff run will define the future of the franchise. If the Grizzlies fail to make it out of the play-in or fall flat in the first round yet again, it may force the front office to finally ask hard questions, not just about Morant, but also about the long-term roles of Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. in this organization. A first-round exit could mark the beginning of major roster upheaval, but if they can rally and make a deep run, perhaps this turbulent season will be remembered as the adversity that forged a championship-caliber team. Either way, the excuses have run out. It's time to deliver.